Mo, what you wanting Saturday? 3 p.m. kickoff. Like Scousemo was saying, it's a regular Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff again. It seems like a normal match. Not much hysteria apart from the Dyche ball sideshow. What are you anticipating? What are you expecting from Slot in terms of his mindset? Are we going to get into selection and tactics?
Well, normally I'd say I just want 3 points, which I think every Liverpool fan wants the 3 points. But I actually want to see some patterns of play, some attacking patterns of play, some solid defensive plays, something that mirrors the Madrid performance or even the Villa performance a little bit. I just want to see that kind of performance, just to give not only the team a bit of confidence, but all us fans as well. I think if we put a good performance, solid performance in against a Sean Dyche team, dismantle them systematically and playing beautiful football, then that'll give us a lift going into these set of fixtures. Because let's be honest, as good as these set of fixtures are, they're also a big banana skin for Slot. If he doesn't pick up as many wins as we expect, then there's going to be more pressure on him. So as good as these fixtures are, I think they're also a massive banana skin. So, like, I agree with everything that Tom said. I agree with everything that Mo said. There's so many variables about this season that we have to consider. But we also have to keep it real a little bit. You know, we're Liverpool Football Club, and the expectations there to win. The expectations are there to finish top four minimum. And look, the season's not over yet. We've got lots to play for. It's only November. We can't write anything off. But I want to see us kickstart that, on Saturday. Put a good performance in, and let's talk positive about the club and forget about the last 5 weeks' negativity. We can only start turning the corner once we have a positive performance and people start speaking positive, and that will breed positivity throughout the fan base and throughout the players. But it has to start, and hopefully it starts on Saturday.
Faraz says this is such an echo chamber after the irony of putting about 4 tweets talking to himself, which is usually the meaning of an echo.
I mean, he's sitting there arguing about my point on luck. That's fine. I can sit there and talk about the luck point. We've not played uncertainty.
Because people know that I love addressing numpties in the chat. Luck, question mark. Tough fixtures, question mark. It's tragedy when blaming the manager, but not the players, question mark.
I mean, that whole tragedy point was brought about from the fact that we mentioned that Mohamed Salah was struggling and that Andy Robertson and one of the biggest moments of his career struggled with it. So, of course, it's tragedy when it comes to the players. You can question and criticise certain things about them. They are not immune from criticism, but there has to be the understanding of what they're going through. And I don't think anyone's tried to take away from that. On tough fixtures, yes, it is tough fixtures. We've played.
We've had the hardest fixtures so far. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
Our away games have been tough. Our home games have been tough. And people will try and discredit that. The first 3 games of the season, we played Bournemouth, who have turned out to be one of the best teams in the league this season.
Super team.
Newcastle, which there was so much emotion in that game, it was always going to be audible. And in Arsenal, who were seemingly runaway champions and best team on the land. We played Crystal Palace away from home on the back of their run of games. We played, I didn't look at all of them. We played Man City away from home. We played tough teams throughout this run. We've played teams that maybe people didn't think would be tough at the start of the season, but have emerged as bright contenders this season. When it comes to luck, I will say, look, the Man City game, were we good? No. Did any luck go our way in that game? No. The Crystal Palace game, were we good? No. Did any luck go our way in that game? No. Manchester United, were we good? I don't think we were as bad as gets made out. Did any luck go our way? No, we hit the post 4 times. And the referee didn't stop the game for a head injury, which he stops it for 99% of the time.
Yep.
A lot of these small margins just haven't went our way in the last month or two. And people don't want to hear that because they just want to find a figure or a person to sit there and blame because that is the be-all, end-all, 100% correct answer. That's not the case. That's not the case. There's a multitude of factors which go into it. And yes, I believe luck is one. We haven't had that luck that we had at the start of the season go our way in the last month. The Man City game, they had a worldie from Doku. Canales headed it onto Haaland's head. And the second goal was a deflection off Van Dijk. 5 minutes after we've had a perfectly good goal disallowed for offside, which everyone knows was the incorrect decision. you want to talk about luck, that's luck. That's luck. The game changed like that. And I'm not using it to excuse the results. That's what people forget. It's not being used to excuse the results.
Stephen, if you just joined the show now, I understand why you would write this. But if you go back 5-6 minutes, I literally said that we don't deserve anything out of those games that we lost. So I've owned up to saying that we deserve to lose them, but we're trying to give context behind them in terms of, was every performance stinky as the result? We don't believe, or some of us don't believe that. But anyway, if you write this again, then if you carry on saying the same thing again and again, I'm just going to time you out. It's boring. Say something constructive and critique positively. Jack, we need to pick a team for Dyche Ball. As I said, it seems as though we have a full clean bill of health apart from Frimpong. Is there any drastic changes that need to be made to the personnel or even system in your head at the moment?
I think we all might mention it in terms of the system a bit later as well, mate. But I think for me, it's just play. I'd say basically the midfield, McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai. The biggest conundrum, especially from a tactical perspective, I think everyone's might have mentioned it, every Liverpool fan, is getting utilising Fleury and Wirtz in this Liverpool system. Again, in international football, got 2 assists for Germany in the last game, so he's playing well. He's got a striker in Germany in Walter Mada that actually finishes in the penalty box, which is very helpful. If Mo can start putting some goals in, Hugo can certainly do the job as well, mate. And I think Tom spoke absolutely spot on, really, in terms of just getting a good run of form, really, and just once everything clicks, and it's just silly little headers as well, mate. It's once we eradicate them, then I think the lads will start playing with a lot more, certainly a lot more confidence. But especially, I'd like to see Anfield be a bit more of a fortress, mate. But from the tactical perspective, mate, similar backline, Bradley, obviously Canate, Van Dijk, Andy Robbo. Depends. No, actually, I think Kirkers might come in given the amount of minutes he played in the international break.
There's a dilemma there, isn't there? There's a selection dilemma there, and we'll get everyone else's opinion on it.
Yeah.
Kirkers. Well, the thing is, Robertson's coming off a high. Kirkers is coming off a low. Well, Robertson's played 2 highly intensive games in a short space of days. Kirkers is the younger, fitter player. Then we've got a European game, which tends to be more favourable towards Kirkers in this current state of form. It's a tricky one.
Yeah, it's interesting, mate. But as we said at the top of the show, for me, it's if we can get a result against this style of play, they've got a lot of quality, as we'll speak about tonight as well. But a very high calibre. I love Murillo, the Brazilian centre-half, phenomenal centre-half. A lot of quality. Morgan Gibbs-White, everyone knows his quality. So you got some very good individual players. As we've seen under Nuno last season, very good structurally, sitting behind the ball. Certainly one of the best counter-attacking sides when you get playing. Not under Ange. Thankfully, well, I would have loved to have played Ange football at Anfield with this Forest side, but sadly that's not the case, mate. But
yeah, I think anything under Ange. Not they just have 8 games that they threw away.
But you see, that's the little thing where we've been unfortunate, like situations like that. Why didn't we get Nottingham Forest when they had Ange?
It's just typical. Why didn't we get West Ham when they had Graham Potter?
They had Graham Potter. Like, it's just been these small little things. Like,
they're funny to other people, they're funny to rival fans, but when you're on the end of these kind of scenarios and situations, it's mad frustrating.
Last year, all these kind of things went our favour.
Went our way.
Went in our favour. And
Arsenal fans hated it.
And it was the opposite for Arsenal. It was like all the bad things were happening to them. But this is, I feel like, just a small, that 1% can make a huge difference in football.
100%. At the top, the fine margins at the top of the tree is far from between. But Jack done a Welsh mold there. I asked him a question about.
Well, on a tangent.
Yeah, and he went. I don't know where he went up to bloody Gibbs White and all sorts, and Angelo and all sorts. Here's a Robbo. You chickened out. I need an answer.
Kirkers, mate. Yeah, he's the younger lad anyway. Out of obviously Robbo, and so.
Okay, and Wirtz or Gakpo, because you've picked your 3 in midfield. which we discussed, see if everyone else agrees with that. You Gakpo or Wirtz?
Gakpo, just because of his height, because he's got a lot of big 6'2", 6'3" lads for us, one of the tallest teams in the division. Just mainly for that, I think.
Scorelord says, please don't start Gakpo, so he agrees with you.
And I know Gakpo doesn't win headers, but you've just got to get a big man in there. Like he's got to start.
Stevie says Alisson coming back is going to give the team a massive boost. Mo, that's a massive boost, isn't it?
Oh,
Alisson's back. Again, I'm going to ask you the same, probably the two questions. By the way, did McAllister play for Argentina, lads?
yeah, he did.
Twice?
And they only played once, I think, and it was like a week ago. So that's the only. Usually, after an international break, I'm always
He's
saying
the first name I don't want anywhere near the squad, even.
don't let him play. He just come back from like the mountains in Bolivia 24 hours ago. But this time it seems like he hasn't played in a while. You can double check that, lads.
85 minutes against Angola.
Well, when was that? Like on the 14th?
14th, yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost a week difference. So I'm more than happy for him to play. Usually I'll be like...
Are you picking him?
Yeah, no, I would pick him for this match, to be honest. Usually I would go with Jones after an international break, but we'll go with him. The comments about Alisson, let's not underestimate how big of a difference it's going to make. Just having Alisson Becker in goal. Listen, lads, he's the best goalkeeper in Premier League history, in my opinion. And having him in goal or Mamardashvili in goal, who looks promising, it's just a huge difference. The back line's going to feel a lot more comfortable. Our team's going to feel a lot more comfortable. Even the small elements, like for some reason we keep on passing it to Mamardashvili's right foot. Do you know what I mean? Even though he's left-footed, and it's just frustrating. At least with Alisson, he is right-footed, and from what I've seen,
we're gonna have to remember. I reckon we're so numpties at the moment.
We'll start passing it to Alisson's left foot.
If that happens, mate, I'm going crazy. Nah, but having Alisson in goal is just huge. Like, he's the best goalkeeper in the world, mate. So, yeah, that's gonna be a massive difference. I agree with that back four. I think Kirkhouse should start this game. Robertson, after playing back-to-back 90s with Scotland, you're better off just giving him a rest, because we need to bear in mind, I think we're playing like 8 games or 9 games in the next 4 or 5 weeks. It's mental. It's 2 games every week, isn't it? From here on out. Yeah. So rotation is going to be necessary. It's going to be very important. So yeah, I agree with that defense. I agree with that midfield. The only question for me is Gakpo or Wirtz. I feel like Gakpo's overhated sometimes. Like, I think I was one of the OG Gakpo haters, but now I've become a little bit softer on Gakpo.
Sympathetic towards him now.
Because like when everyone jumps on one of the players, I'm like, yo, chill. This is my niche. Now everyone's jumping on him. It's like, nah, I'm not liking this. Do you know what I mean? It's similar like Kirkhouse. You know, like in the beginning, I was like, nah, I'm not feeling this guy. But now everyone seems to hate it. I'm like, nah, that's my boy. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, it's £150 million. I'll start with it, but yeah, not going forward. It's still going to be a difficult test. And one of the players you never mentioned is Elliot Anderson, and I hope that's one that Liverpool are looking for in the future. I'll be honest with you.
I was going to ask Tom and Welshmo, what are we looking at in terms of the Forest? But I quickly want to get your thoughts on the lineups. Is there any changes, Tom? Any radical or crazy thoughts going through your FIFA head?
I mean, there was a part of me that thought about playing Szoboszlai at right back so we could have more midfielders, but I think I'm not going to do that. I would start Kirkhouse, but I would only do it on the basis that Curtis Jones is playing on the left side, because over McAllister. Because so far this season, Curtis Jones is the only one that's shown me on a consistent basis he can cover an area whilst the full-back goes forwards. So it means that Kirkhouse doesn't get stuck doing the left centre-back role, which he can't do, because when he's in his own half, as much as I think he'll come good right now, he frustrates me, because when he's in his own half, he can't pass forwards. When he's in his own half, it has to go sideways to Van Dijk. So my idea is, if you just put Curtis Jones in that area, Curtis Jones can drop in and Kirkhouse can then get forward into areas he's more comfortable in. And then you've got your Gakpo Wirtz situation. I can hear both sides. I really can. I think for this game, though, if I'm playing Kirkhouse, I'd probably go Wirtz, just so Kirkhouse can have the left-hand side to himself and get forwards as much. When it's Robbo's a bit happy to be deeper, and then that midfielder can go forwards a bit more. And it probably makes a bit more sense for Gakpo then, because you need someone to hold the width on that left-hand side. But I don't want Kerkez coming into the middle. He doesn't look comfortable anywhere in any central role. So I'd rather have 2 guys on the left than on the centre mid who can cover for him and then drift inside and offer him options for his passing. So I'd probably go Wirtz on the left.